Chainlink has been getting a lot of attention recently. In this video, we're going to be jumping down into the technical analysis of Chainlink, one of my personal favorites, and reviewing the price action. Are we looking for a decent move to the upside, or are things actually looking a little bit more on the bearish side for now? As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? You can always unsubscribe later. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. The link for that is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Let's waste no more time though. Let's jump right down into the desktop and take a look at what's been going on most recently with Chainlink. So let's get right down into the videos. So as you can kind of see, Chainlink has been an interesting few days. It's kind of moved up a little bit here, but it hasn't really changed the bigger macro technical analysis, at least not for now. I do own a fair amount of Link, a little bit less than I had previously, just because I was way too overexposed in the last kind of cycle. But Chainlink is one of those projects that does incredibly well, but can also, if you do not time it right, do some pretty devastating things to your portfolio. Okay, it's a very volatile asset. At least it was pre-staking and things like that. So let's go ahead and just show you a few things that have been going on, right? So as you can kind of see here on this chart, let me just scale this back down a little bit. Okay, we have these kind of really big swings in the market. So from January 2019, when it bottomed out, this is the same time as Bitcoin, it had a 1,200% move, right? And that's quite easy to do when it's like 34 cents up towards $4, right? So it was really quite a comfortable thing for it to do. And then, of course, it moves down very aggressively here. Okay, it moves down 68%. Okay, then it moves up a little ways. Okay, you can see that within there, it moves up. It goes up for a 200% move. Okay, so fantastic. So you take those swings and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, there's another crash right down here. This is basically the pandemic crash. Not too unusual, but something that happens quite a bit. 72%. Okay, so you can see how volatile this thing is, right? Then it moves up, then it comes down, moves up. And then in the bear market, essentially, it sees more of these big swings in the market as well, right? We can see that it started off with a move that was 74%. Then it changed as well. It goes back up again, comes back, has a drop of 60%. Okay, then you see a few more of these kind of really big swings, right? So 60% drop here, bounced up, then dropped down an additional 60% and so forth. So it's a very, very volatile asset, and you get comfortable with it over time. But that being said, ultimately, I think Chainlink is going to be one of the projects that performs incredibly well. Okay, at the current price of $7.17, I think this is a very comfortable and easy 10x, but I suspect it'll probably do even better returns on the longer term. It's got well over 1,000 integrations across the blockchain space, and I think essentially it's one of those projects that's very much well needed. Now, there are competitors. It's not all about Oracle sitting just with Chainlink, but it definitely has first mover advantage. It's definitely one of those projects that you want to be keeping a close eye on, and if you haven't got exposure to, maybe considering getting some exposure towards it. Now, let's take a look, right? So if I come over into our smart money concepts chart, and this here is Link paired up with USDT on the BitGet spot exchange, and of which, guys, if you haven't yet signed up to BitGet, the affiliate link for that is in the description down below. You should definitely get on that one. There are obviously sign-up rewards and bonuses depending on how much you deposit and trade on the platform of up to $8,000, so you can take advantage of that. But we also use the BitGet affiliate link that is in the description for our own trading competition that we hold down in our Discord server. It happens every single week. It gets renewed every single week. It's not affiliated with BitGet, it's not affiliated with YouTube or anything like that. It's just something that Chris and myself are doing to kind of keep engaged with the community, a bit of fun in terms of trading with BitGet as well. Now, the main reason I bring up BitGet here is that actually it's worth actually signing up to as many different cryptocurrency exchanges as you possibly can. In the bullish market, sometimes some of these exchanges go down overload, underload, because there's just so many people trying to log on, trying to sell their crypto, trying to buy crypto. It is quite intense, right? And so it's always great to have access to as many different exchanges as you possibly can. Now, 𝗕𝗀𝗀𝗃 is my go-to platform. I use it for 100% of my leverage. I use it for 90 to 95% of my spot trades. And I use things like Binance or Gate.io, KuCoin, Coinbase, and Kraken, or whatever, right? I use all those other exchanges as my backups. But it might be the other way around for you. Personally, I think if you start using 𝗕𝗀𝗃, you'll be pleasantly surprised with how good of a platform it actually is, and it may become your go-to like it is my go-to. But always great idea to sign up. If you haven't yet signed up to 𝗕𝗀𝗃, check it out. The affiliate link is in the description below. Familiarize yourself with the platform. Make sure you understand how to onboard and offload on the platform so that when the time comes, you are well prepared. Good strategy is something that you must have. So let's come back down, right? So this is the 𝗕𝗀𝗃 spot exchange, right? And on the 1 hour time frame, we can see that we're not looking overly too great, right? So it's had some positive kind of moves to the upside here. It had some interesting kind of structures over the kind of late July. But so far, we've seen a nice correction to the downside. Now, there are some good things to be said here, as well as some bad, okay? So first of all, let's acknowledge the bad. We kind of see ourselves with a change of characteristic, basically going from a bullish state of play to a bearish state of play. Okay, so the structure has shifted. It's now gone into more of a bearish structure. However, there are some positives to be had here. We can see the structure in itself looks like it has completed a three-wave pattern to the downside, at least at that macro level. Let's go ahead and review what that looks like. Okay, we're going to use the fib tool. We're going to place this into here. We're going to just see the wick high on this is coming in at 80447. So I need to just pull that down a little bit because it's a little bit too high. So what I'll do is I'll just zoom in here and get this one right onto the correct level, because otherwise we won't have a correct reading on this one. So we need to go ahead and actually pull this in. It's 1102, sorry, if I had the right wick there. 1102. There we go. Okay, so with that in, we can see that we've come down a little bit short on the 1-to-1, but typically what we'd be looking for here would be the price action to finish between our 1 and our 1.236 right inside here. Basically, it's going to be between 674 and 698. That's going to be where you would expect reversal in the market to occur. Okay, now inside here, that would basically look like, I've moved all my tools around a little bit, that's why I keep going in the wrong places. It would look like this, right? A big ABC structure. And that's positive, but it does look like we have this overlapping corrective structure to move to the upside that's also complete. So this here could be a bigger reversal for us. That change of character basically is an interesting one. I think we can start seeing a move upwards towards the fair value gaps potentially, and a little bit above that 200 EMA sitting at around 738. So a swing upwards I think is due, but probably not just we're probably are going to see it actually a lot sooner than expected potentially. So let's take a look, right? Our internal workings here, we have a very aggressive move to the downside. Yeah, so we've got to come down again by the looks of it. But I suspect we probably are going to be testing equilibrium and the 200 EMA. Let's go ahead and check what that looks like. So at the moment, we kind of have a potential three-wave pattern forming at a micro scale right here with, a test right up there on that 200 EMA. Let me go and show you. So it's going to be right here between 736 and 741. If I remove the noise, you can kind of see it right there. This will then make us look like a three-wave pattern to here, okay, at equilibrium and 200 EMA. That would then actually allow us to then break on down, because this here is a five-wave pattern, a five-wave drop to the downside. Okay, we have to have the same thing again. And if this is the case, then we're probably going to have to extend down a little bit deeper than we would normally expect from our typical kind of C-wave structure. So let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. If I throw this across over to here, I'll put it on the higher side to give us a conservative target. It would be right on the low side with the potential to come down just a fraction deeper towards the 559. But ultimately, it does look like we have to see that kind of play out. A little bit of a move upwards here, a few percentage points for Chainlink, nothing major though, and then a break to the downside. This is probably something that's going to start to occur today, small move up and then break down. I think that's kind of where Bitcoin sits as well when it comes to this one. So yeah, be a little bit cautious there. Now moving this up into our daily time frame, we can see that were actually above the 200 daily EMA and above the 50 EMA on the daily time frame. That's a bit of positivity there, but I suspect we're probably going to briefly wick down lower and just take out any kind of long positions and then kind of potentially move long after that. We do have a mixed bag of momentum on the timeframes here. So the weekly is overbought, but the daily is oversold, for example. The hourly is oversold, but the 4 hourly is overbought. So our momentum indicator is indicating that we're going to see a fair amount of volatility. That volatility is going to see some small movements on the hourly chart, but ultimately slightly bigger swings on the larger timeframes, both on the 1 and 4 hour charts, but also the daily and weekly charts. Essentially here, if I zoom out of this for a fraction, you can see the obvious, which is that we find ourselves with this big area of resistance on Chainlink. And it's going to be, I'm just going to grab this here and I'm going to pull this in on here. You can see this area of resistance, 846 to 964, right? And so what we've kind of got ourselves in is lower highs, okay, which is potential for a move to the upside at some point, and lower lows, right? Now, our new bear market low happened on the 10th of June, and so we're still getting bear market low points. Now, as I said earlier, in 2019, Chainlink actually bottomed at the same time Bitcoin did. But here in 2023, we have Bitcoin that bottomed out, I think, in November of 2022, at least for now, and you've got Chainlink here still going down into new bear market lows. So we have to be a little bit cautious. Now, they have obviously developed some fantastic tech from a fundamental point of view that's going to be a bit of a game changer, and so there's going to be some cool stuff going on. But for now, as it stands, I think we are kind of just finding ourselves wedged in between these two blocks. On the low side, it's 476 to 588, and on the high side, as I said, up here is the 846 to 964. So we find ourselves kind of ranging in here. This is probably where we are likely to spend most of the time. We might come down a little bit deeper, and still have these new bear market low points, but I'm not expecting like, big drops like we saw before. I mean, maybe it's possible, but for now, I think that most of the selling pressure has occurred, and we are just likely to kind of see a little bit lower maybe, and before we get that bigger break to the upside. Ultimately, though, I think Chainlink's going to do incredibly well in the future, and I think it's got a very, very bright future ahead in terms of not just price action, but also from integrations, technology, use case, and all those kind of wonderful things. So, guys, I think I'm going to leave this video right there. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. Link for that is in the description down below. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.